Hey, hey, peace, peace. So we're gonna be started shortly. We're getting it in. Hoping everyone is here. We are live and direct, broadcasting from the home studio where we have our trainings. We're gonna get ready. We will see y'all momentarily. All right. All right, we are getting it in. Peace to everybody on the platforms. Here we go. All of us here together. Excellent. So if you got a question, we're simultaneously broadcasting this on Facebook. So if you're in with Seba Inpu or the Kemetic Al-Kemi Association, it will live on Facebook for the rest of the evening, and it'll be uploaded and be on our YouTube channel called Liberation Tools. It'll also be in our stories. It'll be a little brief today. We're going to talk about those of you who are participating in our Spring Equinox Community Fast. So I'm grateful that folks had an opportunity to tune in to join. Thank you so much. Again, Seba Inpu, founder of the Kemetic Al-Kemi Association. Glad to have everyone here with us. Hopefully you're finding this feed, and we have been away. You know, typically we do this twice a month just to keep everyone in motion with us, and so that you're able to get in sync with us. We are back in Leimert Park, in Leimert Park Village, every Saturday, live and direct, in person, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Saturdays. Check us out. Also, we have our Tuesday and Friday morning Zoom sessions. So check us out there as well. All the information you can get from our link trees in the bio on both Facebook and all our social media, you have access. If you get an opportunity, check us out. You want to share and support, check out our bio where you can get in and share via our PayPal. Support this work. The work we're doing is going out into the community to aid our folks in being conscious of their body, conscious of their health, and the tools they can use to do so. Physical health, mental health, social, emotional health, improving their emotional intelligence and emotional vocabulary. This is a great deal of the work we do, as well as spiritual coaching and counseling for folks who are growing and in transition. So we want to be able to provide you with the tools that are necessary as we move forward. Also, for those of you that may be COVID survivors, we have specific tools that aid you, along with folks within our network of community traditional healers and such, to be able to aid you, whether it be long COVID, or whether it just be you transitioning into your regular everyday life after having one of the varieties of COVID. We have some particular protocols and practices that we're putting together across the so-called complementary and alternative healers as a way to aid in your recovery. Okay, get that out there right at the top. So at this particular time, what we're looking at is a shift into the spring. And as such, in the spring, during the springtime, it is a time where the wood element, in terms of 5-element theory, is going to be predominant. And in that, you're going to have the gallbladder and the liver, which are going to be impacted during that. And we had said that we're going to really get into the body. And so again, we're going to talk about, I have several elders that aid and guide me and us along this path, along with our certified nutritionists. So this is not something that we have come to in terms of our fast lightly. We want to be able to, because it's broad and we have folks all over the world joining in with us, If you have specific questions, please contact me directly or leave a message or, put it up on one of the social media. You know how to get with us. And so that being said, let's get into it today. We're not going to be here over long. This is like one of the Sunday chats with Seba. We want to keep it real down to earth. If there are details, we'd like to be able to deal with those directly and to offer someone the personal touch and privacy of a consultation. That way it's not something you have to discuss about your personal self in front of everybody. Now, if you do have a question in general, we get that knocked out, all right? So if you're tuning into it's Women's History Month, and if you're tuning into our Tuesday, Friday, or Saturday sessions, we are moving more directly looking at applications to the Tai Chi form, some applications to the martial Qigong forms as a way of aiding particularly women in our community in utilizing these everyday positions and practices to defend themselves, as well as using the martial science of situational awareness and the tools of knowing where you are and when you're going to be where you are as a way to plan for what's happening and don't just float. All right, surf, don't float. All right, use your intention and your practices to aid and guide in how you move through space. We got it? I hope we got it. I hope we got it, because that's the simple things. Now, in terms of how we practice, this should be the first full day at sunset today. You'll have gone all day Saturday from sunrise and then all day today. So we're headed into that transition where we should be fully raw by Tuesday. And in this fully raw, one of the important things that we want to get to is that this is a fast that is taken into account that people are coming to it from different places in their lives. Some of you may be eating animal flesh. Some of you may not. Some of you may already be vegan. And so we have the space in how we have conducted this fast so that you do that. We have two different versions on our link tree. One is called Nkepra, and that version of the fast guidance is for folks who maybe have never done a fast before, or you're a heavy meat eater and you've heard all these different concerns about how you would fast. Primarily for our beginners on that Nkepra fast, it's a raw food fast. You're only going to have raw foods. On our more intermediate fast, which is just called the fast guidance, it goes a little bit longer, but it goes a little bit longer because we're going to go not just to raw food, we're going to go to vegetable and fruit juice, mostly vegetable juices. All right. And the design behind that is that we're working to help the body to relax, to prepare for the transition. And we're working with liver and gallbladder. And we're going to work on that whole digestive system, work towards giving it a break. Okay. And we can get into that a little bit more next week, particularly because next Sunday will be the solstice. Hopefully you didn't have too much challenges today with the Western imposition of daylight savings time, wherever you are. So we'll get into it. So the things that you want to be prepared for are you want to have lots of leafy greens, of course, as organic as you can get them. We're headed into a time where strawberries are in season, berries are in season in general, but strawberries are coming in season. I want to particularly talk about some of these so you get a real clarity of understanding that. Strawberries for human consumption should be organic. Normally, the strawberries you get in the store, if it's not organic, have about 23, 24, 25 different pesticides on them. And so if we're trying to cleanse and clear the body out, you don't want to have a bunch of pesticides that you're ingesting at the same time. Okay, what we're working to do is to get our body working as optimally as we can. And the way we do it is we use multiple modes of healing so you can get closer to an optimal state, given that we don't always have the optimal environment in order to do it. So we have picked multiple ways. So during this process, as we talked about before, for this period, we had no sex. That means no physical release for males. Women are different in that regard, but still want to be able to keep it balanced. So we say no sex, particularly for beginners. Spring water is what we use. If you're using something different now, that's fine. For the purpose of the fast, we want to be using spring water. Okay, you want your water to be kept ideally in something stainless steel, unlined, something that doesn't have like the plastic lining inside. If it's got to be in plastic, usually you want the thicker plastic. If you have to have the individual bottles, make sure that it's not in sunlight and not in high heat for long. All right. And again, spring water. Organic as much as you can, although I know with the prices of gas, the way they are, folks are going to be trying to cut corners where they can. And I would say that your food should not be the place where you cut the corners. All right. You want to look at your food as an investment in your life and your health, not just today, but for your children and your family going forwards. All right. As many things as you can grow yourself, get at it. Learn how to get that in. Leafy greens are important and can help and aid you in that regard. Okay. So again, let's go through really quickly what's possible for us to be able to do in terms of food and nutrition. Then I'm going to also demonstrate some of the tools that you can use. I'm going to also point you to our YouTube channel where you can most directly, and if you're already on YouTube watching this, be sure to like and subscribe, hit the little bell, primarily so that you're able to stay connected to us. All right. So ideally, citrus is in season. Hugely important. All right, particularly the pith and the peel and the oil of the particular citrus, very important. Okay, lemonade will be good right now. You can use maple syrup once you get off the fast. The only sweeteners we have on the fast are honey. Okay, and that's primarily because of the impact that it has for the heart and for the liver during this time, because again, liver and gallbladder. Okay. We're also looking at some African herbs and plants that we're using. If you have a chance and you want to use a cayenne pepper, you want to look for African bird pepper. It's a little hotter and it's wonderful for people of color, great for the heart, great for the blood flow and circulation. And a lot of what we're seeking to do here is to get our digestive system working. The liver and the gallbladder work together in terms of bile production, in terms of breaking down the foods that you eat before they get into the small intestine, and then as they come out and get processed, utilizing that bile before it gets to your colon and the rectum and the anus on the way out. So as part of the extraction of nutrient processes, we want to make sure that stuff works right, because what's not what you eat, it's what you digest that's important, okay? So we want to make sure, that's why when we go through the fast with beginners, it's raw, because we're taking the insides and we're just scraping that stuff out through the intestines, using the fiber and the roughage to be able to do that. For those of us on a little more advanced side, been doing this a little while, we come through that period and then we give it a rest, utilizing the fruit and vegetable juice, primarily vegetable juices, as a way to get our nutrients. And then for those that are on the more advanced level, they'll be talking to me directly. There's another level to the fast, and we'll be talking about that directly towards the 27th, which will be our last day. It'll be, as we bring up, folks can share how they've experienced the fast and what that was like. Would love to hear from you. Heard from some folks last year, found it very transformational for them. Now, remember, we're talking about berries, juices in terms of the fruits, but now let me get over. So right now we have a wonderful Bloomsdale spinach is in, which is the heirloom spinach. Amazing, amazing. Also, arugula is in season right now. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Also, snow peas are in, English peas are in. So you have an opportunity to get with the peas. You have your torpedo onions, your red onions. Okay, cabbage is still in. I'm hoping for a red cabbage this week. All your lettuces are available to you. So this is a very important time for you to really reap the advantages of what the planet has to offer, as she's really coming forth and he's sharing with you the bounty of what's available, which is a great time for us to fast. Again, spring water. All right, we have instructions for that. You go to the link tree and download the guide. We also have a calendar which tells you when it starts, when it doesn't start. You hear me, y'all, that talking like I don't know how to speak. Forgive me. What I mean is when the fast starts, some key important days during the month. And what I've started doing is I'm what we call a servant of the spirit, or Hem Ched, Shemsu Amun Ra, follower of Amun Ra, out of the temple, the white and gold lotus shrine of Amun Ra. That's where I started. Now working and independently out here as almost like a monk teaching the masses. And so with that regard, I've added in some additional feast days for particular days of the week, so you can begin to see how our ancestors in the feast days became connected to others' spiritual and religious systems as a way to influence their practices down the line. And that's for us to have kind of more of a cross-cultural expression and understanding and discussion around these, around how, what Lent is and how it kind of comes about and the timing of Lent, the shift in terms of the timing of Easter. All of these things you want to begin to consider, because that's connected to the cosmos. It's connected to the movement of the planet, the stars, and it's moving through your body as well, as your body is connected to the cosmos. And so as we eat right, it allows us to clear up the mind because we're digesting and getting everything that we need. And so now our brain starts to function more appropriately. And now we're going to get into the other practices that we utilize in the Kemetic KhASA Association, which is meditation. What you should find is at the time we get to this third day, and you get to really that third full day on that raw fast, that you have energy, which for many of you may seem to be counterintuitive, because it's like, how is it if I'm only eating raw food, not eating dead animal flesh, I'm not eating, which only three of, again, out of all the animals on the planet, most people are only eating some kind of pork, some kind of cow, some kind of chicken, all mass produced, all hybridized, so they're not in their natural state, not as healthy as they could be. Research this on your own, don't be mad at me. I'm just sharing factual information so you can get it, so you can examine it, look for yourself, learn some things. Don't just be passively receiving, all right? Hopefully you got your pen or your notebook or your journal, because that's hugely important. We take that every day. I'm not gonna walk us through the day, but what I do want you to realize, when you wake up, you wanna get your affirmations in as you clean the body up, get everything in, do your breathing exercises, your meditation. If you're on our system, you'll be doing your Asar stance. And as you get in with that Asar stance, afterwards, you get your Qigong, your martial, you get in your Tai Chi Chuan or any other martial arts form that you may practice, or do any other meditative practice that you have, do those. I'm not pushing mine. What I'm saying is that if you aren't practicing one, try ours out for this section. It's just a way to get you connected to your body, okay? But you should be doing some form of meditation to the best of your ability. You want to be drinking water. We're right headed into the full moon. So I'm not going to get into the use of the moon and moon energy and moon water and some of the other pieces connected to that around the full moon, connected to the new moon. But for those of you that are clever, there are ways you can find out that information. You can even ask me directly. That's not the focus of today's quick chat. Just want to get in here, get you going. We'll check in if you have some questions about how it's been going for you for the last day and a half or so. Please ask the question, put the questions in. It's a one-man show in here today, so I'll get to them after the broadcast is done. But I do want to know how the fast is working for you if you're on with me and some of our other colleagues. I've been looking forward to this one. The other thing is, you want to spend some time in nature. We all were gifted a suit. A birthday suit, we will, if you call it. And so during this time, as the sun is coming out, I would offer that while you're on this fast, to spend some time sharing your birthday suit with the sun. Because what Westerners have learned is that what they call vitamin D, that's produced by exposure to the sunlight, is not a vitamin. It's more of a hormone / enzyme that has huge importance in your immune response. So as much of your beautiful birthday suit as you can get in the sun as often as you can, please do so. And again, use your mind. I'm not saying lay out and burn yourself. All right. Let's not be idiotic. Listen to your body. All right. Most importantly, you're going to want to get some good shea butter. And so some of you may know some folks that have it. You know, I'm going to talk about my folks at Body Butter Lady, mainly because I know it's organic. I know it's food grade. Hear me. Organic, food grade, first cold press, and they use essential oils for those that wanted something scented, organic, essential oils. They're putting in that work so that you get it direct from great grandma's recipe in Senegal in this particular case. But it's a way for you to get the history, get the community, and for you to learn about shea butter. So perhaps what I'll do is when I get a minute, I'm going to get my elder on here and have them talk to us about shea butter. So you understand why it's so important to utilize our traditional body moisturizers as opposed to some corporation. Okay. So we got that. You want to have that happen. The reason you want that is because you want to, when you can, this is the purpose of a loofah or like a dry, something that it stimulates the skin at the topical level. So you use those things. I use what's called an ayate cloth. Okay, it's made from the same plant that they actually use for tequila, the agave. So one of the agave. So hugely important. It's a wonderful exfoliation tool, particularly during this time when the body's kind of cleansed and pushing stuff out through the skin. If your skin is cleared and exfoliated, it's a wonderful way to do that. All right. So you want to do that. You want to get some good soap. You know, I use Dr. Bronner's or some of my folks' soaps that they make from shea butter. Again, community-wise. Black soap, same way, is excellent. So we want to really start deepening our relationship to our body and what we put on our bodies. Okay. So now we got that. So the general body's taken care of. We talked about doing Tai Chi, Qigong, or whatever Mantu or martial art that you're into. You know, we have multiple ones in our family. I got folks that are doing Capoeira Angola. I got folks in my family, immediate family, in my household, that are also doing Tai Chi Chuan, Qigong, along with me, doing Sanukas Ryu Jiu-Jitsu out of that Raw Life Defense System with Professor Sahalia. Check her out. So through that, what we end up doing is now having a movement vocabulary that we do regularly. And in doing that, that enables us to begin to have some understandings about how our body moves and when we need to release. Okay, you don't want to hold on to things in your body. All right, you want to be able to let things go. And as you get into this, every couple of hours, if you're properly hydrated, and we talked about spring water, that should happen for you, okay? You want to be hydrated, all right? And we have the schedule and we have the amounts for how it works and how you want to put all this together in the guidance documents. Please just download the guidance document. If you don't want to print them out, at least download and read it. All right, reading is fundamental. Hugely important. Now we're going to wind up and say that you do this every day. And the full moon's coming up this week. You get out under the full moon, do your practices, get these baths in, get these showers in, and the visualization of just letting that old stuff get off you. We're moving into a time of balance where patriarchy and hyper masculinity is not the path that the planet is on. The planet is purging those particular kinds of behaviors and moving towards one of more balance. All of us within us have balance. Yin yang or amen aten, however you want to define what that looks like. I'm not going to get too deeply into it, but in our system, we utilize the Kemetic understandings of the subtle bodies. We utilize the Taoist healing understanding of the subtle bodies through our great grandmaster Dalu. And then we also have, the Taoist tradition, and one of our elders is now helping us. So I'm working with the Immortal Blue Dragon Qigong series with Dr. George Love. You got to get with Dr. George Love, all right? And hopefully what I want you to hear is Seba Inpu has teachers. I didn't just wake up one day and have this information. Over the last, we'll say more than 30 years, I have been instructed by my elders, folks that have worked with Dr. Goss, folks that have worked with Dr. Aris Latam, Sunfired Foods, folks that have worked with one of the brothers, Brother M. Siddiqui, some of the folks that have worked, I spent my years in the Good Life Health Food Center, learning and sharing what I know about the human body and getting the information about plants and plant medicines and plant science from them to be able to share with you. And I have no concerns about giving you their names and where this information came from, because I didn't get all of it. I wasn't born innate with all the knowledge of the cosmos. I live in a community. I live in relationship and partnership with elders, with colleagues and peers and students. So I'm constantly learning. And I need you to understand and practice on your own. You're not here to do it all yourself. Cultivate a community, work with them, build. We're not here to do everything solo. So this practice of writing things down, your food log, your journal for your emotions, what's happening, what's going on with you, doing these tools, meditating, getting to know yourself, turning off commercial radio, turning off commercial television, reading books that aid you in the cultivation of your specific religion or spiritual practice during this time will aid you in all of your endeavors that come after this. I'm grateful for the time that we have spent together. Thank you for choosing this time to sit with Seba Inpu, sit with me. That third person should be a little funny sometimes, forgive me. To sit with me and share information. So if you got a question, throw it in. I'll holler at you, or not holler, but I'll respond in kind. I look forward to hearing how this fast is working for you. And again, remember, it's not about weight loss. It's not about how much you weighed when you started as to how much you weigh at the end. It's how is my body doing? What is my blood pressure like? What is my heart rate like? What is my circulation like? What do my bowel movements look like? Are they floating? Are they stringy? Are they oily? And yeah, we're gonna talk about that, but that's hugely important that, I don't mean, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on the scat, but it is important that through this process that you visualize, take a look, you wanna check for the consistency and the color to make sure that through the breathing exercises that you're doing, that you should know, even though you're going every 2 to 3 hours after a meal, it should still reflect a particular consistency. And that's what our body is working towards, is being consistent. And so should you be on the beginner fast, it ends on the 22nd. So I'll check in, and then we have another, we'll be on here again on the 20th, the day of the equinox. And we'll be on again on the 27th to but to share with you, hear from you how it went. So I want to be here accessible to you each Sunday that we're here. And if something is happening and, during your week, and say, hey, how's, I had this weird thing happen. What's up? And so, if it's a general thing, you can ask it here. You can ask me privately, in the DMs and those other sorts of things. But it's really here to help you understand, get your food together. Lots of places you can go and get good quality organic food. Okay, you got Lamert Park Village. There's folks giving it away there. There's some vendors in there where you have a community supported agriculture, you can get that hooked in. Then there are the farmers markets that are local. And then if you have to go to the stores, you got the Solar Food Co-op. And then you got the stores and then the big boxes. So you can go to those places as well. But let that be the order in the process. Community first, y'all. All right. So that being said, spring water, organic foods, the fruits we want are primarily the berries and the citrus, right? Okay. You know what to do with the leafy greens as they're really coming in, all right? I didn't get too heavy into mushrooms because they may impact people's bodies differently as opposed to raw, cooked. So we'll work on that at another time and we'll come back. We may even have that full discussion. You know, you have to look at what's happening with your body, all right? So we go from there. We talk about whatever your martial practice is, whatever your meditative practice is. If you don't have one, try ours out. It's real basic. It's real simple to get you started. We have it on our YouTube channel. Check us out. I'll be highlighting on the channel some of our initial basic meditation. All right. Along with that, you want to get in your Asar stance, which is one of our basic meditations that we teach. It is both centering, rooting, and grounding, as well as expansive, as well as building up the body. So it gives you a lot in one stance. Additionally, we're here. So rather than me continue to repeat myself, after that, make sure your water intake is good. Make sure you're doing your deep breathing, which will aid in stimulating the bowels. You want to have a warm drink in the mornings, right? And so there's some recipes in the guidance document that will aid you. And there's also like a shopping list, stuff that aids you. So along with the calendar. So check it out. Let me know how it works for you. We're consistently tweaking it so that it works more efficiently for everyone. You should not have a headache or any kind of negative experience while on this fast. However, there are some folks that may, because their body is unique. And this is, again, community-wide, not specifically tailored to one specific person or body. All right, when we do those, that is an individualized fast specific to you as an individual and what your body is going through at this time. So that's different than what we're doing here. What we're doing here is a general fast as a way to get the body woken up and moving in sync with the cosmos. As such, got a little homework for y'all. What I want y'all to practice, which is, again, a yate cloth. Look at what that is. Check it out. It's a wonderful exfoliant, natural. So you want to research that. You're going to look at the calendar and look for those feast days that are related to Kemet. So we can begin moving away from a Western calendar as something that guides us and look at our traditional calendars that may even be related to our religious practice or our spiritual practice. And let those be the calendars that guide us. And so that we can celebrate our traditions. And when you celebrate your tradition, it's easy to then share your tradition and celebrate everybody else's traditions too. Because now it's a cultural exchange and we're on equal footing. We're balancing the scales of Ma'at. I enjoy celebrating not just Chinese New Year, but Lunar New Year. But it came to me first as Chinese New Year. And then, you know, with Ramadan coming up, right in concert with this fast, there are ways that I'll be able to celebrate with my Muslim brothers and sisters. So I want you to understand that when you have your practice from your culture, it's easy to share with others without having to appropriate or take something that doesn't belong to you and not practice it appropriately or correctly. Spend this time learning who you are, where you come from. Cultivate yourself, right? Cultivate this practice so that you can spend the time looking inwardly and allowing to come out of you what's inside. purely because we're going to be getting rid of all the other mess that's stuck in there. All right. So I want to thank you all for your time, attendance, and presence. Again, this is Inpu Kamut. You know where to reach us. I look forward to you letting me know how this works. Should you choose to check it out, get it in, and we see y'all soon. KhASA. Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. KhASA. Peace and blessings.